At the end of this video you will know how to link your Garmin Edge to the Intervals.icu platform and have better control your long-term power-based fitness performance. Welcome to the Self-Coached Cyclist, where I share my interpretation, approach and practical use of cycling training concepts using a GPS bike computer. Garmin Connect is a wonderful platform that has almost everything needed to train with power using a Garmin Edge bike computer and a power meter. And by almost, I mean that although you can see your training load and training status performance charts, they are based on heart rate and not power. To track your fitness over time with power, there is no better tool than the power management chart, not available in Garmin Connect. That is why I use the Intervals.icu platform that has a graph called Fitness Chart, a great implementation of the power management chart. Intervals.icu is a very powerful platform with an extensive set of training tools for several sports that is worthwhile to give a look at. In this video we will see the initial configuration needed to link Garmin Connect to Intervals.icu and use the fitness chart to track long-term cycling performance using power. At the time of editing this video, Intervals.icu is free to use, though it will suggest to support its development with a $4 monthly contribution. Do so. Create an Intervals.icu account. Browse to Intervals.icu. And select Sign Up for free to open an account. You will be asked to enter your information as shown here. Once your account is ready you will see the main screen. Let's navigate the interface for an overview. On the top left you will see your account name and profile picture if uploaded it during registration. Clicking on the menu icon will open the contents, that are as follows. Account. Clicking on your profile image will open your account. Activities. Opens a calendar that has a large number of functions such as activity record, workout and training planning calendar. Fitness. Shows the power management chart, known as fitness graph in this platform, that is used to track and assess your fitness, which can also be used to verify whether your training plan, in case or following one, is yielding the expected results. This is the main screen we are interested in, one of the most valuable pieces of information that you can get from this platform. Power. If you are training with a power meter, here you will be able to see advanced power data analysis. Pace. For activities that measure load using pace, here you will see the corresponding information. Totals. Shows an overall summary of all the recorded activities based on time and zones, as well as a classification of the type of training you are doing based on results, such as polarized, threshold, HIIT and so forth. Compare. Displays graphs comparing data such as power versus heart rate, cumulative training load, fitness and others. Compare activities. Overlays activities on top of each other that can be used to track progression and other types of comparisons. Settings. This is where you enter your general information, the activity types you do and the corresponding setup parameters, your power and heart rate information and the connection to devices or other platforms. Groups. Allows to join groups of athletes that may have similar goals as you do. You can create your own groups as well. Chats. Manage your chats with other members of the community. Forum. Access the Intervals.icu forum. Profile. Set up your public profile where you can share information with other members. Select the Settings menu option where you will see several tabs. On top is the General Information tab. Fill the self-explanatory settings and parameters. The language you want to use from the list of options. Your weight. Units of measure for distance and temperature. In form, select whether you want the platform to use its absolute value or as a percentage of fitness. Leave the default setting of absolute value. Your email address. Sex. Date of birth. City. State or province. Country. And the time zone, which is used to properly maintain time information when data is uploaded and downloaded among Garmin Connect and Intervals.icu. Now go to the Sports section. It has several tabs to set up sport-specific parameters. It includes ride, run and swim, as well as the option to add other sports not listed by default. As we will use the platform for cycling, go to the Ride tab to enter the corresponding settings. Activity types. Select the ones that apply within the ride category. Here I have selected the ones I do. Ride when I ride in pavement. Virtual ride for indoor sessions. MTB. Gravel. Warm-up. This parameter is used for the decoupling calculation. And does not impact the use of the fitness chart, so for now, leave the default value. Cooldown. Also for the decoupling calculation, but now for the cooldown. Leave the default value as well. Gear. Select the default gear, bike in this case, to be considered in an activity. If you have more than one option, it can be edited within the activity data. Training load priority. Load can be measured in several ways based on power and heart rate for cycling and pace for other sports. This setting tells the platform the order it shall use to process load values. Select power, HR, pace. Time in zones. In the totals menu option described above, the platform uses time in zone to get them depending on the data that is available. Select power, HR, pace. This setting lets the platform know what zones value either power, heart rate, or pace shall prioritize to calculate the totals. Workouts. When creating structured workouts, let the platform know which targets to use in workout steps. Shall there be more than one option? Select power, HR, pace. Intervals. Set the priority to create the interval summaries for the sport. Select power, HR, pace. Ignore velocity. When set to NO, the time recording generated by the device will be used to calculate moving time. Update activities. If you make any changes to any of these parameters after the initial setup, this option will apply them to all the previous activities before the change was made. Make sure you really want to do that, as this action is not reversible. Now select the Power Settings tab. These are the parameters needed when training with a power meter. Enter your FTP in this field. There is an option to enter an indoor FTP if you have a different value for it. Make sure the FTP values entered in these fields match the one you have in your Garmin Edge. Power spikes. If the platform identifies a sudden power peak that is larger than the percentage shown here compared with your power curve, it is considered an erroneous reading coming from the power meter, and that should be corrected, actually modifying the raw data obtained from the activity. In our experience, power spikes may also come from intentional interval training, and this setting may be the cause of different performance statistics between the Garmin Connect and Intervals.icu. After extensive testing, I decided to not let those corrections to be done. There is no direct way to set this parameter to not correct, so the only option is to enter a very high value such as 999%. Power zones. They are automatically calculated using the FTP entered. Make sure they match with the ones you have in your Garmin, so that there is consistency among both. If they do not match, you can edit them by touching the pencil icon in the Power Zones for heading. EFTP min duration. Intervals.icu calculates an estimated FTP identified as EFTP for each ride. This is the minimum amount of time in seconds that the platform will use to estimate it. Leave the default setting. Use laps for intervals and keep all laps. When using the lap function in your device, let the platform know whether those laps shall be considered as an interval or not for analysis purposes. Heart rate settings. Though heart rate data is not necessary to train with power, I highly recommend you do so. They complement each other. Heart rate is the input and power is the output. Threshold HR. Enter the value you got from your field or laboratory test. Maximum heart rate. Enter the value of highest high rate you have reached while exercising. HRRC min HR. It is the minimum heart rate value that has to be reached to trigger recovery calculation after a hard effort. Should be equal or greater than your threshold heart rate. Heart rate zones. They are calculated based on the heart rate data entered, but they may be edited by touching the pencil icon. As with the power zones, make sure they match with the ones you have in your device so that there is consistency among both, as the calculation factors may be different in each. HR training load. The platform provides 3 methods to calculate heart rate-based training load. HRSS is the predefined option for all sports. Time in heart rate training zones, which uses the TRIMP definition. And average heart rate. For now, leave the default setup. Eventually you can experiment which fits you best, as I have done, and for now use time in heart rate zones. This is the method to be used to calculate the load when there is no power data in the activity file, following the preferences entered in the training load priority, time in zones and workouts in the ride settings above. Scroll down to the Connections section where you set the permits that allow for data to be exchanged between several devices, platforms and Intervals.icu. Go to the Garmin Connect window. The link is made through Garmin Connect. Check Download Activities and All Activities. Follow the instructions to grant the required permits among the two platforms. After the connection has been completed, the next activity data you record in your device will be automatically transferred to the platform via Garmin Connect. Touch Download Old Data to fetch previous activity data stored in Garmin Connect. If you have been training with Power and are new to Intervals.icu, this option will get historical information that will fill up the calendar and fitness sections, speeding up the analysis and planning process. If your device tracks wellness data such as HRV, sleep time and quality and so forth, you have the option to activate downloading this data as well. Finally, the platform has a tool to create planned structured workouts that can be transferred to your Garmin Bike Computer. Activate this option to send them to the device. With all configured, check that all is working well. If you downloaded old data stored in Garmin Connect, the activities should show in the calendar view, something like this. And the fitness chart something like this if you had power and/or heart rate data in your activities. Also, the real-time connection shall be tested as well. Go out for a ride with your device and upon finishing the activity and once the data is in Garmin Connect, check that it has been loaded to Intervals.icu as well. To support your self-coaching journey, check our ebooks and guidelines. I've summed up everything I've learned so far in an ebook, The Self-Coached Cyclist, Training with Power. It covers everything I use to train on my own, and that you too can apply to your training, to make sense of your data and improve your cycling. If you want quicker access to all the key training insights as well as help support the channel, grab your copy now, link in the description. To get a hold of its contents, download our free guide, The Self-Coached Cyclist Training with Power, Concepts, that contains the first 2 parts. Learn how to create advanced planned workouts in the Intervals.icu platform with our full-featured video tutorial. Besides the ebook, you can get our free training planning worksheets to support your self-coaching journey that you can download right now, including Cycling Fitness CTL Planning Worksheet, the 2025 Cycling Fitness TSS CTL Planning Worksheet. All the links are in the video description. If you're passionate about cycling and want to get the most out of your GPS bike computer, subscribe to the channel for more videos on training with power and using your GPS bike computer. Have questions? Drop them in the comments and join our mailing list for exclusive tips, updates, and resources to help you ride smarter and have more fun. Let's keep learning and riding together.